So tonight I will call us to order for this our March meeting of Lawrence City Council, and I will call upon Ms. Miller to give us the invocation, and then if you will remain standing, we will say the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. Thank you, Lord, for allowing us to come back to take care of business of the city of Lawrence one more time. Bless all those who are here who desire to be here and are unable to be here. Lead, guide, and direct our minds, our thoughts. Let us agree to disagree in love. Bless our mayors everywhere. Lead, guide, and direct us. If you will have us to go, bless the sick and those who are shut in within their home. Bless this nation, Lord. Heal this land like only you can. Bless in a mighty way. These are the blessings we ask in your Son, Jesus' name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. All righty. Mr. Administrator, do we have anybody sign up for public comment? Okay. Then moving along to the second item on the agenda, we'd like to invite Mr. Jason Tabner to give us a quick word about Disabilities Awareness Month.
Thank you for the opportunity, Mr. Mayor, council members, Mr. Administrator. This is March, so I'm here for Disability Awareness Month. I have the proclamation that the governor approved. I thought was a good kind of start to give you some of the items that are in that effort along those veins of raising awareness. And before I forget, I want to thank Mr. Bolt for coming to our breakfast this morning and being there and participating in that event. We had another awareness event this morning, so thank you for that, sir. But whereas thousands of South Carolina residents and families are impacted by severe lifelong disabilities, including autism, traumatic brain injury, spinal cord injury, and intellectual and related disability. And whereas people with lifelong disabilities are productive citizens, neighbors, and family members deserving of respect, opportunities, and economic self-sufficiency, independence, and personal growth. That last piece there is something I think at our agency we really hit on hard as far as employment, having people gain that, of course, the paycheck, but then the worth that comes with the job and all that comes around that. Whereas South Carolinians with and without disabilities work together to play, work together, worship together, learn together, and grow together. And lastly, as family members, caregivers, and what I represent, service providers, selflessly offer daily care, assistance, supervision, and physical and emotional support to individuals with disabilities. That's what we're raising awareness for today and this month. We'll be doing a variety of activities, but this being one, so thank you again for the opportunity. Real quickly, the Lawrence County Disabilities and Special Needs Board, of which I'm the executive director, we support now around 700 people. That's grown since the last time I spoke with you. We've expanded services into the Greenwood community and Newberry. We do case management in those areas now. Residential services, that's the group homes that we operate. Some are in the city of Lawrence, some in Clinton, and one in Joanna. We have 19 of those now that serve 111 people, of course, in the county. Day services, this is where I feel like we're doing the biggest piece of that self-worth efforts. We have 33 people now working in jobs in the community, 23 that are training and career prep to fill those next steps. So we need 23 more jobs, and I hope you guys help us with that, right? But that's a lot, but it happens one at a time. I'm real happy for each one of them. And then 81 people doing day and activity and community services. We have 25 kids that we work with. That number fluctuates, but we do early intervention services. We do serve people through the entire life cycle. And then we have 215 staff. Always, like most folks, looking to hire people that are ready to work and fulfill those words that were said about the caregivers, the passion, the selflessness, and all that. It goes with that. So quickly, I know you guys have a lot going on tonight, but last piece just was we remain and excited, and I hope that's something you don't forget about us. If you meet people we support, meet our staff, I hope they share their enthusiasm with you for life and what it is that we're able to do. And we are available community partners. If there's anything that we can work with you on, we'd love that opportunity. And we have in the past. The city's been a great supporter. So thank you for that and look forward to the future. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank Jason. Y'all do great work, and it's our pleasure to help bring a little bit more awareness of it to the community. Thank you. Next on the agenda, we have a report from Councilor Alicia Sullivan.
Thank you, Mayor. I got a question. I submitted a request to speak about committees and neighborhood association, and it wasn't approved. So is there a procedure that I'm supposed to go by to be able to speak upon things that are concerns in my district?
Well, this would be it.
I'm lost now. Because normally when I request to be placed on that, it'll have exactly what we're speaking about. Is this different? No?
No.
Same thing? Okay. So in this place where it says community remarks, I speak about the community.
Sure.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure.
Sorry
Well,
for any confusion there.
the second thing is I had did some research to do that. However, we are not fully prepared because the agenda didn't state it. It normally states that if I request to speak about something, it's on the agenda. So, what I will do is speak about some of the reports that we have experienced there concerning the trash issue that we had this week. We called the sanitation department and asked for a dumpster. Is that the correct term? And we received it later, probably about maybe it was 10:30, 11 that next day. But the community was organized, and I called the administrator and explained to him that we was going to move forward with cleaning up the community, helping that citizen that was in the home that's in the flat of Hunters Court. And by the time we arrived there, it was sheriff department and a lot of police there. And from my understanding, it was a call made about animal cruelty.
Ms. Sullivan, I don't want to derail your remarks, but I also want to keep the comments that we have in public appropriate. And
Okay.
if there is an ongoing criminal investigation, it would not be appropriate for us to have a dialogue about that on the record in a public meeting.
That's a report, sir. It's just me telling you the scenario that happened. So you want me to say supposedly?
Well, I guess what I'm saying is, I was aware of that situation.
Okay.
So if it is for the benefit of either me or the rest of council or the public, that kind of thing is entirely appropriate. But if we're having discussions about citizens who are accused of breaking the law and the details about that, I don't want to put the city in a precarious position by having a discussion of that on the record. Does that make sense?
No, because I think you're missing my point. I'm speaking about reports that happen in Hunters Court. It's not directed towards the incident or the citizen. It is what occurred there when we took initiative to clean up. So
Okay.
I'm making the report concerning
okay.
that. That makes sense?
Right. That's cool. I just didn't want to.
Okay.
I didn't want us to stray into something that wouldn't be appropriate. But
Okay.
please continue.
Okay, so what I'm stating is, we wasn't fully prepared. From my understanding, the internet has been changed or something. We tried to go online to get the agenda, couldn't get the agenda. Got a text from Miss Madison stating that it's up now. I wasn't aware of the change. So we weren't prepared for it. I didn't know we were gonna be on here because I couldn't pull the agenda up. Point of order, Mr. Mayor. This is my turn to speak. Thank you.
You're correct.
Thank you, sir. So Miss Madison texted and stated that the internet was up, and so right now I still can't get into log on. I have to speak with Colby after this and get all the correct information. But when I'm stating it, it was delayed. So we're not prepared today to do what I requested. And I requested it probably Wednesday. I think that's correct. Because from my understanding, we're supposed to turn in a request for the agenda by Wednesday. And then I asked that if we have to turn in a request by Wednesday, that we receive the agenda so we can know what's on the agenda. Is something wrong with that?
Council, I'm happy to let you continue with your report.
I'm not finished. Whenever you finish. And also, in addition to that, I received a invitation for what's we having tonight. We're having a
State of the city.
State of the city. I didn't know anything about it. I sent in a request for a nomination, Mr. Bolt. He's been on here for a long time. I think he's done great. I didn't know anything about it, so I was not prepared for it as well. So also in community news, since we cannot present the committee tonight, I will inform you that we're working on a revealing ceremony for some signage that we're working on for historic Hunters Court community. I showed you a picture of it at the parade. You, Councilor Lowry, and Bo. And I'm gonna pass this around so everyone can see it. Jonathan Irie had explained to me that I need to apply for an encroachment. Is that correct?
From the highway department.
From the highway department. And Mayor Sin, you have been great with supporting historic things. You've been out front with specifically the Backstreet Park. And so I feel that I'm hoping that you will be in supportive of us. We're trying to plan for March 26th to have that date. And I don't want to plan anything without including you or council. So we're thinking about the 26th or sometimes closer to Easter. We're pondering on those dates, but we need support from the city.
So you haven't obtained an encroachment permit from the
We're working on that right now.
And has the construction actually been begun? Nothing's been done or ordered on the sign?
Right now, the community they're paying for their bricks. They're paying for engraved bricks. And the signage, we're waiting on Reverend Hunter to approve the verbiage.
It's a beautiful sign. I think I'd be happy to do whatever I could to help.
Thank you, sir.
And I appreciate your desire to help coordinate and scheduling. Just to be frank with you, March 26th is 11 days from now. That seems like a bit of a short turnaround.
That's why I say we're suspecting that date. We're just throwing dates out.
But yeah, I'm happy to help do whatever I can.
Thank you, sir. That is all the reports I have for District 2. I was going to also ask about Spring Street Committee, but right now at this council meeting, Mr. Dagago and Mayor Sin, I would like to be on the agenda in April to present committees. So I'm speaking in front of everyone so that everyone knows.
That is just fine. Ms. Sullivan, just so that we have some clarity in the communication. The point of having this reports and communication agenda item is so that you can do just exactly what you're talking about, and it doesn't necessarily need to be itemized about a bullet point list of the things that you want to report on.
Yes, sir. I wanted to make sure because we've done it before, and I was told that it had to be specific. So I'm making sure that it specifically says that, so we can avoid any confusion. Is that okay?
Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you. Okie dokie. Thank you, Ms. Sullivan. Thank you, Mr. Taber. That brings us to the end of the reports and communication portion of the agenda. I will reserve my remarks for the state of the city. So that takes us to the council business before us. Next item on the agenda is the consent agenda, which includes approval of the agenda for tonight and the minutes from our last meeting on February 15th. Do I hear a motion?
Make a motion we accept the consent agenda as printed in
Second.
city council meeting.
We have a motion, and with all due respect, Ms. Lattimore, I think Ms. Miller got it in first. A second from Councilor Miller. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of approval of the consent agenda, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, no. Hearing none, the consent agenda is approved. Moving on to the next item of business, we have only one item of business tonight, and that is the resolution that is in front of you. Let me just say a brief word about that. This is Resolution 22-03-1, a resolution in support of the city's decorum and civility policy. This is a sort of tool that many other cities have used to, one, set a standards in place for public meetings and for employee conduct. But on the other hand, it is more than simply a set of rules or policy. It says something about who we are and what our priorities are. And the reason why I think this is so important is I think we could all agree that the way that we communicate as a society, as a country, with each other has suffered in recent years. We are not as kind, not as respectful, not as civil with each other. And in order to stop that, we have to choose to do the right thing. And choosing the right thing can start here. And I believe this resolution doesn't do anything but put in a lot of words the simple principle of let's treat others the way we want to be treated. And I think it would be a strong statement of leadership on the part of City Council to approve this resolution and show our community that we're committed to acting with civility towards each other, to raising the standard about how we conduct ourselves. And that's sort of the gist behind this, but if this has a motion and a second, I'm happy to answer any questions. Do I hear such a motion?
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution 22-03-1 with discussion.
I'll second, so there's a lot of discussion and see what we're looking up to.
Thank you, sir. We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
Is there a particular reason why you'd recommend this resolution at this time? Anything that did?
Well, I think it's hard to ask for others to do something if we aren't willing to do it ourselves. And that's the idea here, that City Council takes a leadership role in committing to act with civility.
I have a question. I agree with acting with civility, And I know I'm a person that I don't ever hardly get upset by anything. But when I ask a question, I don't want no evasive. If I ask you a question and you know that answer me. Don't let me keep asking the same thing and you going off somewhere else. That's what I feel. I think that's why this policy is here, and I agree with it. I agree with the policy, but there has been a time I can say before anybody. I have been. When someone strike you wrong, you're gonna say whatever. Of course, I never curse. I don't ever curse anyone. That's not my nature in doing stuff like that. But I do like to speak in harmony with anyone. But when my question is evasive and you keep throwing something else up in that place, what do you expect? You expect a correct answer. You know that person knows the answer, and you expect that answer. And that's all I'm saying. I don't ever hardly contend with a whole lot of stuff. I keep it to myself. This was a time when it was only me, and I know what it was. And just like I say, evasiveness of what you say, you expect an answer until it gets to the point where you demand an answer, and that's what it was. Because just that's the way I feel, and I know, and I'm not gonna sit here and know where this is coming from. I have to speak now the truth, because the truth is what prevails, and I know that. And I do things according to what the Word of God says. Because I am a God-fearing woman. And I know the Word, yes. And I know, I'm not saying nobody in here that don't know the Word. Everybody know the Word for themselves. But at this point, I have never been in this situation before. At this point in time, that's the way it was. And I did call each one of you. They know about it. Exactly, that's what I did. So, I agree with this policy, and I do stand by it.
Thank you, Ms. Lattimore. And just to your point, this isn't intended as a swipe or directed at any one person or member of city council. That's not the approach here. The the motivation behind this is simply to say, that, well, just to be blunt about it, as I was preparing for my State of the City speech, one of the things that is troubles me is we can talk about economic development all day long, but if we don't have a community which loves each other, if we don't talk to each other, if we have people that are stuck in their camps and we can't even have a dialogue calmly, then all the economic development in the world doesn't matter. How do I get up on the stage in a few minutes and say, hey, community, come together, we need to love each other, if city council doesn't do it right? So this seemed like a good way. It's a tool that other cities have used to say, you know what, we're going to step out first and we're going to show leadership. So that's the motivation.
And I wholeheartedly agree, because at this point I feel somewhat like, sir, God is love. And we must show love and respect towards each other. You might not like me, but respect is more than anything else. And communication is the key to everything. And clear understanding. And we got to show more appreciation toward each other, more respect. So I wholeheartedly agree with what it's saying here. But we can't just say I love you and then put a dagger in my back. You got to show love is an action word. It is an action word. And so I wholeheartedly agree with this. You can't tell a child not to steal and you steal.
That's right.
So, you
I
know,
think you hit the
you
nail
got
on the
to,
head there, Counselor.
you got to really walk the walk and talk the talk. Genuinely.
That's right. There's nothing in this resolution that says people can't disagree with each other. Or have
That's what
differences
I was
of
thinking. We can all disagree with one another, but we still, when we go out, you know, we still love one another.
That's right.
I mean,
That's exactly
you know,
And to be honest with you, I think this is easy lifting for us because one of the things I pride myself on as a member of this council is that we do it well. I mean, there are other places that have more troubles than we do.
I'll agree.
And nobody's perfect, but we all are
That's right.
striving for perfection.
Yeah.
We are.
So, if it's easy to agree with the rules if you follow them anyway. But I think it says something to the community if we're willing to adopt a resolution like this and commit to it.
And one more thing, we have got to be more proactive to all people, not just our area, but the entire city of Lawrence. Because if you heard, I heard. What Hunter's Code need, Jersey need. So we got to be inclusive. That's the word I was trying to say. We have got to be inclusive.
Well, you know, I'm gonna speak
I
on
mean,
that.
we have got to be inclusive. Now, I was just using it as an example.
I know it, but I got
and
to
nothing.
talk.
But we have got to be inclusive,
Yes.
and we got to again communication is very important.
Well, I'm one of the ones that I really work hard for District 2. Those are the personnels that we're not not like Gray Court. I am inclusive, but I believe in doing what I said I was going to try to do, and that is why they elected me. And I'm going to continue to try to work for the needs that they have. This resolution speaks a lot, but I also hope that it includes that when the internet is changing, that we know, because that's what this is saying. This tells us that when you're doing the state of the city, that we know way before, or any plans that's going on, especially about our district, that we know. That's what this is saying. So I agree with it, but I hope going forward that we're more inclusive on that end too.
Let's end on a note of, unless there's any further discussion, let's end on a note of agreements that if we are in agreement about what is expected of us, then hopefully we all do our best to meet that standard. That's the desire. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I will call for a vote. All those in favor of passage resolution 22-03-01, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, no.
Nay.
One vote in the negative. The measure is approved. That is the last item on the agenda, so at this point I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'm making most that we adjourn. I'm sorry.
Second motion.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Any opposed, no. We are adjourned,
everybody needs to sign that.
and I will be glad to